This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
I shudder thinking how the world can be so cruel. I lend my voice to those who can't. It's time we try, it's time we care, it's time we stand. It starts with a voice.
Welcome to the Special Chronicles Podcast. My name is Daniel Smrokowski. I'm the founder and host of Special Chronicles and a former Southern Survival Global Messenger with Special Olympics. And our website, specialchronicles.com, where you can follow Special Chronicles on socials and wherever you get your podcasts. This week on the Special Chronicles Podcast, which we're recording this at the end of 2024, but it will actually be the first episode of 2025. So excited to welcome Katie O'Neill, fellow Special Olympics Illinois athlete leader, to talk about her story and accomplishments in Special Olympics. And so please put your hands together as we welcome Katie to the Special Chronicles Podcast. Welcome, Katie.
Hi, I'm Katie O'Neill, and I am a Special Olympics athlete and leader.
Awesome. And that applause, you can just imagine that we have an actual audience in front of us, even though we're not in the same place recording this. So awesome. It's good. I think we talked about having you on this podcast for a while, so it's good to have you on the program. So first, share with our listeners how we got connected, and then we'll go from there.
We got connected through Special Olympics Illinois athlete leadership conferences and meetings and a lot of other Special Olympics related.
Yes. So before we get into how you became a Special Olympics athlete, take our listeners back and tell us what disability you were diagnosed with and your early years with your disability.
So I have ADHD and ODD, which is oppositional defiance disorder, and I have other learning disabilities. I had, for the early years with my disabilities, I had trouble learning and sitting still and never really got the help I needed. My parents tried everything to get the help I needed.
Good. And then what are a few of the challenges because of your disability?
It was so hard for me to focus in school because I wanted to do what the other kids were doing. I got made fun of by other kids in elementary school, middle school, and high school.
Awesome. And as our listeners know, our challenges is not the focus of this podcast, and it's definitely not the focus in Special Olympics as well. So what else? Talk about some of the joys and accomplishments because of your disability.
I was told I could never speak right or read right. I was told I could never be successful, but I showed those people that I am because I have Special Olympics now.
Awesome. So we're going to go ahead, take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about how you became involved in Special Olympics and and how you took those challenges and how accomplishments came because of that. After this short break, to let you all know to join our supporters with a monthly or one-time donation so we can operate our studio and continue giving continue our mission, giving respect and voice to people with disabilities. You can visit specialchronicles.com/donate. That's specialchronicles.com/donate to support this podcast and our Special Chronicles 2025 Giving Campaign. It's the beginning of the year that you're hearing this, but we still have, I think, about $6,000 left to raise for our Giving campaign, so we can continue to bring you podcasts every week and other digital media content on specialchronicles.com. So specialchronicles.com/donate. And we're back. So with since you mentioned Special Olympics, that's a good. And I think a lot of us athletes have different ways of how we're introduced to this movement. And so, how did you get? How and when did you first get started in Special Olympics?
I got started very late. I was 18 and out of high school. I learned about it from my old high school gymnastics coach. He said I can be an athlete too, and now look at me. I am a successful athlete and leader.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. And so you mentioned your gymnastics coach, so I'm assuming gymnastics is one of the sports. But can you tell us about some of the different sports that you've competed in?
I do gymnastics, and I start swimming in January, which I'm very excited about. I used to do cheerleading, but it got too much for me. I really want to add a lot more sports to do.
Awesome. Yeah, so it's really neat that in Special Olympics that once we try one sport, then in connecting with our fellow athletes and other people in this community that we're introduced to other sports that you might not have thought that you might be able to do, but then once you do more, you're able to really see that there's a lot more fun that you can do in the different sports. So you mentioned cheerleading, and so briefly wanted to mention that. So you're a 3 times world champion cheerleader that you've done in the past. Can you tell us how you got involved in cheerleading and what you enjoy about it?
Yeah, I can. I always loved cheerleaders. I always wanted to be on a team in high school, but I would always get cut from it. So I found out my gymnastics team also had a cheerleading team, and I was able to join. I was a flyer, which was so much fun. Cheerleading got to be too much for me. It is a very high pressure sport, and being the flyer, there is a lot expected of you. If I mess up, the whole team messes up, even if it wasn't my fault. I decided to stop it this year, but I don't know if that is forever. Do I miss it? Yes, I do. It was so much fun being with all my friends.
Awesome. And our content producer here at Special Chronicles, as you started the Special Olympics cheerleading program, where they cheer at a lot of the World Games and the USA Games, and at a lot of those big international and national events. So, so that's a neat connection there. And so you mentioned that in addition to being an athlete, like we both are, we're both involved in athlete leadership, which is how we got connected. So after you started competing in gymnastics, how did you get started in athlete leadership, and and what was that beginning process like?
So Mike Jones, Ashley Jones's father, asked me after my very first gymnastics practice if I wanted to be an athlete leader. I didn't know what that meant, but I sure do like to try new things, and I'm happy that I was able to try it and come out of my shell and be more confident in myself.
Awesome. So there's a lot of different athlete leadership academies or conferences and trainings that we've attended over the years. Is there talk about maybe a few of your most memorable trainings or leadership academies that you've attended, or any? It could be other opportunities that you've got because of athlete leadership, or any training or leadership academy that sticks out.
Oh, where do I start? Every opportunity that I had done has made me who I am today. It has been the best decision of my life. I'd have to say the highlight has been being a speaker at the Law Enforcement Torch Run last fall. It was amazing to meet so many people from around the world. My other favorite experience was getting to hold Cole Komet's hand at the Oak Brook Polar Plunge, and also the Chicago street race with NASCAR. OMG, there's so much more I want to share.
Awesome. Yeah, I know there's a lot of different opportunities, and just like how you got to meet Cole Komet from the Chicago Bears at the Polar Plunge last. I also got to meet him at United Airlines when he job shadowed Z and myself. So yeah, so it's neat that we get to meet a lot of these professional athletes. And then you mentioned last fall speaking at the International Torch Run conference that was here in Chicago, which I'm a lot of us was there. Can you talk a little bit more about that experience? What did you speak about, and what was it like that there was law enforcement officers from across the globe there at that conference? So what did you speak about, and then what was it like speaking in front of all these law enforcement officers?
This was the best experience I have ever experienced. I spoke in front of 1,400 people, definitely the biggest crowd. I spoke about how I was bullied in high school by both the students and the teachers. I told people how I wanted to spread awareness about people who have multiple needs or just that, people like everyone else. We make the world more fun. I thought it was so cool that there were people from all over the world. It was so cool to hear the different accents that people had, and to collect patches and coins from the police officers. I felt like a celebrity.
Yeah, that definitely was a lot of fun, and lots of good memories being there at the International Law Enforcement Torch Run Conference. We're going to take one more quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about going beyond SMART into inclusive employment. There's a quick break to let you all know support for Special Chronicles comes from the ComEd Energy Force Ambassador Program, the country's first energy and solar efficiency education program designed for and taught by people with disabilities. I believe this will be the eighth year Special Chronicles has been partnering with ComEd. You can learn more at specialchronicles.com/ComEd. That's specialchronicles.com/ComEd. if you're listening to the audio podcast, you can. There should be a link in the show notes below. If you're watching the video episode, you can scan the QR code that you see on your screen there. And back to the show. So with that, taking those athlete leadership skills that you've learned at the different leadership academies and trainings, and bringing that into work. Can you tell us about your work as a special education paraprofessional in an elementary school? How did you get this, and why do you want to do this work?
So far, this has been a great experience, and I think I had found my calling. I love the kids that I am working with. Yes, days can be hard because they can be little stinkers and run off. But I have the support from amazing colleagues. I wanted to do this because I was supposed to have a one-to-one aide myself growing up, but there were never enough aides and other kids' needs were greater than mine. How I got this is I had always wanted to be a nurse or a teacher. I had gotten my CNA license, which is a certified nursing assistant, but wanted to work with kids, and those jobs are hard to find. I was told to work with kids first, so I walked into my school district office and applied. It just so happened one of my old teachers was in need for a paraprofessional for her class, so she asked if I could work with her. Now she is helping me to do all I am supposed to do. Why I wanted to do this is I wanted to do this job because, like I said before, I wanted to help kids that need the help that I couldn't get. I am doing for them what I knew I always needed. I also wanted to start a Special Olympics program at this school.
Awesome. So it's neat that you saw a need when you were in school, and then that's what inspired you to find a job. Are there any other jobs that you've had, either in the past or any other jobs that you like to talk about?
So I was my very first job, actually. I was a gymnastics coach for little kids. That was always really fun. That's the job that I had when I first started gymnastics and Special Olympics and everything. So it was pretty cool to have that job. But with the job that I'm doing right now, I just have the one right now, and I might get one when school is out. So like a summer seasonal job.
Awesome. So yeah, it's really neat that we're able to take the skills that we learned through athlete leadership and then bring them into our jobs. And so speaking of those athlete leadership skills, going through the leadership academy that we have every couple of years, and the athlete leadership trainings, how have you used those athlete leadership skills in Special Olympics at your jobs? Can you talk a little bit about how some of those skills kind of bring over into your jobs?
Yeah. So at the athlete leadership training, they helped me to dress professionally for interviews, not to go too wild with prints and bright colors. Even though I have not always used it, but I still use it now. I try not to go too crazy. I would if I had I have a flowered dress that I wear in the summertime. and I just throw like a jean jacket to make it not too wild and crazy. But from the training part of it, it has been amazing, and the tips and tricks that the people have taught us to become more professional, I use it in my real life to this day. Like, I learned how to write a cover letter. I've learned how to update my resume, and like after an interview, I would send out a thank you email saying thank you for taking your time, and all things I learned.
Awesome. Yeah. So that's, I think, what a lot of people can learn is that going beyond sports and Special Olympics, there's a lot of skills that we're able to learn through the athlete leadership program that we're able to bring into jobs and, like you said, into our everyday life as well. Awesome. So we're gonna take one final break here to mention one other sponsor partner of this podcast, and then we'll come back and get into some final thoughts and a final question after this final break right here, to let you all know that support for Special Chronicles also comes from United Airlines Bridge Disability Business Resource Group, connected people of all abilities. You can learn more on United's commitment to disability inclusion for employment and travel at specialchronicles.com/United. That's specialchronicles.com/United. And I know if you're watching the video, I know that the image on there was a little bit outdated. It was taken during the pandemic, but we do have an updated image on there. And if you want to hear more stories about inclusive employment, you can all go to specialchronicles.com/unified at work and to hear more stories. And so that goes along with that. And with that, let me see if I want to find how. There we go. I found it. All right. So, how can, if our listeners are tuning in and they want to get involved in Special Olympics, how can they do that?
They can find like an SRA in their area. They could just even Google search Special Olympics, and what if there's Special Olympics Illinois, there's all over the United States and world.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Awesome. So we'll put information for you guys listening in the description in the show notes below, the Special Olympics Illinois and specialolympics.org to find your local program. If you're listening in Illinois, then you're involved in the same program that Katie and I are all involved in. But if you're listening in another state or another country, you can find your local program to get involved in. And so with that, I know the time has flown by, but do you have any final thoughts on your overall time here today that you'd like to share?
I had so much fun. I thought this was a really cool experience. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. And I'm sure our listeners got a lot out of hearing your story, and and I'm sure next time we'll have to do the podcast in person, because it's always a lot more fun to podcast in person instead of this virtual, but this was still fun as well. So awesome. So with that, we got one final question, and to introduce that, we've got a bumper. So let's go ahead And whoa, that bump up.
We're not just athletes.
We are the ambassadors of an uprising.
Peaceful protesters.
In a rebellion against anyone
Who has a fear of difference.
Difference.
Our demands are
Equality.
Dignity.
and the recognition of our
Shared humanity. We will not stop.
or accept anything less.
Today, our world is
More divided than ever.
And coming together has never been more urgent.
The revolution.
is inclusion.
Find out more at jointherevolution.org.
So, but in concluding the podcast with one final question, that we don't just want to listeners to hear your story, but to actually take action and bring inclusion into their communities. And as you know, the inclusion revolution is a big message within the Special Olympics movement. And ever since I attended the Special Olympics World Games in Abu Dhabi back in 2019, been included with this final question that, like I said, kind of gets to the heart of what we want the listeners kind of to take to kind of bring inclusion into the community. So it's always interesting to kind of get different responses to this final question at the end of the program. And so I'll ask you, what does inclusion mean to you?
Inclusion means to me that if you see someone having a bad day and sitting by themselves at lunch or in general, inviting them to come and join you. It also means not judging others on how they look, feel, act, or whatever, because you never know what someone is going through. Life can be hard for some, and if I can make their day better, that's what I want to do. Everyone deserves a chance and to be happy.
Awesome. Well, that's a perfect way to wrap up this episode. Thank you again, Katie, for taking the time to come on the Special Chronicles podcast. I guess it's been Katie, a fellow Special Olympics Illinois athlete leader, and looking forward to the next time when you are on the program. And a few final plugs for you all listening in. You can join and our supporters with a monthly or one-time donation. As I said, we have our Special Chronicles 2025 Given campaign going on right now. So you can make a donation to this podcast and help us operate our studio, continue our mission of sharing stories like Katie's and my story and the stories of other Special Olympics athletes and others with disabilities. You can make a donation right now at specialchronicles.com/donate, or just go to specialchronicles.com, click on donate. And what currently, I believe trying to raise about $20,000. So I think we've got about $6,000 left in our Given campaign. So if you all want to head on over to specialchronicles.com, click on donate, and you can help our Given campaign so we can continue producing these podcasts in this coming year. Also, if you want to access bonus content, we've got a couple minutes of bonus content at the beginning of the episode that you heard. You can go to specialchronicles.com/plus, and for just $10 a month or up, you can join and access that bonus content. And we've got our merchandise store. We've got our Disabled Voices Matter merch. I'm not wearing it today, but we've got t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, specialchronicles.com/shop. And I know that 60% of the profits go back to support Special Chronicles. So specialchronicles.com/shop. And go ahead and tap that follow button so you don't miss a new episode. And specialchronicles.com for the show notes and all that. So thank you again, Katie, for coming on the Special Chronicles podcast.
Thank you so much.
And until then, we'll be back next week right here, same place, same time. anytime that you listen to this. Yeah, because it's on demand. You can. It's not one time that you're listening. Anytime, right? Like those. Same anytime. Yeah, you guys know what to do. So, leave a rating, review, like, subscribe, all that, and we'll be back next week right here on SpecialChronicles.com. Have a great week. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Special Chronicles Podcast. Our podcast was produced by Daniel Smrokowski on the Special Chronicles Network. Follow Special Chronicles on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Subscribe, rate, and review Special Chronicles on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Our website, specialchronicles.com, where you can stream our archives of over 500 episodes absolutely for free. Also, there's a list of our favorites, original series, award-winning columns, and blogs. And sign up for our newsletter to receive exclusive bonus content delivered to your inbox. Again, specialchronicles.com. Special Chronicles is hosted by Podbean Podcast Hosting. Our live streams are powered by StreamYard. Thanks, as always, to our business manager, Adam Smrokowski, who always encourages us to never give up. I'm Daniel Smrokowski, back next week with more stories.
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.